Hey Girls, Season 6, Episode 2, Psychopath or Sociopath? We'll find out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I'm so very fly. Oh my, it's a little bit scary.
Every time in
I
the
love
car,
this song.
and especially in LA, if you play it as you're driving down like Beverly Hills with the palm trees on you, it's
Yes.
just, and you have some money.
This always sets the vibe. This is a good vibe
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
Sets the mood.
Takes me back to college.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you ever have like songs that just trigger memories?
Shout out to Carrie Hilson.
Yeah,
love
I think
her.
she's still writing.
She is. I follow her on Snapchat.
You're not one of the beehives that tried to kill her career.
No,
Okay.
I'm gonna let Carrie live. She's my Sagittarius sister. I let her live.
All right, y'all. We are here, episode 6. I think I said
Episode
episode 2. No, I think I said episode 6. Anyways, my name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatever. I'm there. And we have our hosts.
Hi, I'm Mina, and you can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom. The hair goes with it today. It's like,
Oh
it's
my
a lot.
gosh. You and another guy, I don't know if you know him, Emmanuel, a young camel toe.
Wait, I've seen that name, and
love
I'm
it.
like, I had to keep looking at his name. I'm like, am I reading this wrong?
I don't know if I just get dropped with the, like, it's just, I just can't hold it
Shout
in.
out to Young Camel Toe.
I'm sure we appreciate that. All right, so this episode was like, how do you guys feel about this episode?
I like this episode. I feel like
good.
as the episodes go on in this season, it's like it gets better and better and better.
I just felt like it got cut off really short. Like when it ended, I was like, that's it? That's all we're getting
Yeah.
today? It felt really short for some reason. I don't know if that was just
I don't know.
me.
I feel like a lot of characters, like a lot of stuff that we may have said last week, and shout out to the our folks who are chiming in on our YouTube page and giving us their opinions. Sorry, Mina, for cutting you off so many times. Shout out to those people. Did you read the
I
comments?
didn't see
I
that.
love the
Oh wow,
comments.
yeah. So we'll let Mina speak.
Thank you.
And make sure that we'll double check and cross everything and make sure that everything is correct. So
And Mina was right last
And
week.
Mina was
I
right, so
apologize.
do
I'm gonna say this. It was not Maureen. You had
Look.
the comments they came
Oh,
from me.
I love y'all.
We
Trust
love
me,
you
you keep them
guys.
coming. So it's no offense whatsoever. I love it. So I feel like this episode, it kind of tied some things that we said last week.
Yeah.
Pretty much it was like a 180 as far as characters and stuff like that, which
Yes.
I think Lena's doing on purpose, just to, like, how you watch certain shows and you can see the arc of it, and then you kind of know, you might have one surprise when somebody dies or something like that, but the rest of it's pretty. I think every episode, her intention is just to essentially say, F it, whatever you thought is not going to happen.
Yes.
So, let's start off with, I kind of want to start off with Adam and Hannah. How did you guys feel about that situation, like the whole...
I feel like I almost called it, because just seeing his facial expressions when he found out she was pregnant, I'm like, yeah, you can just see, like, wait, what? Who's the dad? Like, you have to tell him,
Yeah.
and like you can kind of see like his eyes, like, I don't know.
Was it a concern or surprise, or...
I think it was like a little bit of like, almost like he misses her. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why couldn't that be me? Even though he is happy with Jessa, there was
Right.
something about the look on his face where it's like, he wishes that he were included in her life still. Almost the same way that Jessa wishes she were included in her
Right.
life. So
Even
it's just
the-
kind of interesting.
Even the fact that he showed up and he's telling her, like, he wanted her to watch his movie, and he's like, I need you to watch this.
He
I need you,
cares.
because you could tell.
Yeah.
He claims he's over it, but I don't think he's over this relationship, and
He's
he really
not,
wants
because when he
Hannah's
says,
opinion.
I want to know that my memories are your memories, I mean, that's got to be tough, because when you go through a relationship and you're like,
Yeah.
did I just imagine that?
Right.
Like, did I feel the same things that this person felt, or are things one-sided? I mean, in a lot of ways, you never get that closure.
True.
So he wants to be able to get it, and
I don't know. I felt like he was just shocked. Like, I think going through the whole process and doing the acting and kind of reliving everything, I think he does want closure, but I don't know if it's necessary to get back with Hannah. It's just more of, we had a great thing. It's no longer. It's more like the adult view of how adults should act after a breakup, and not slashing people's tires and crazy stuff like that. It's just like, we had a great thing. It went awry. I made a movie about it. I want to see if you had the same, you know, feelings about it. Because sometimes it is different. Sometimes she could have added something to the movie, or, you know, it could have been like, no, this is how I remember it. So then it almost does the movie justice, because now you get both sides of the story versus one side. So I don't necessarily, I think it was more of a shock, like, because I think he seems like a very nurturing person.
Yeah.
So I think he's always going to care about her. Like, if you notice throughout all the seasons, he always called her kid.
Yeah.
So I think he's always going to care about her. So it's just more of, okay, you're pregnant, and, you know, where was I? How did this happen? You know, I think it's just more of a concern than
he only calls Hannah kid, right? Because I've never seen him call Jess or anyone else. I feel like that's because the dynamics, like, different. Like, he feels like he needs to take care of Hannah. Because remember, even in earlier seasons, they allude to, like, Adam needs to take care of someone who's kind of, like, crazy and doesn't have
yeah, his sister mentioned that.
Yes. That also reminds me, like, I know I always bring it back to the Sex and the City moment, but Big did the same thing with Carrie.
Yeah.
He always called her kid. And the reason I thought about Sex and the City, because when she's outside talking to him, and she's like, I don't care, leave me alone, that literally brought me back to a Sex and the City scene in season 6 when Big is trying to talk to Carrie.
Damn,
She's
son,
like,
you got the season down too?
I'm Sex and the City and Girls fanatic.
Okay.
But because it's the last season, and he's trying to win her love back. And she's like, leave me alone, don't come on my block. So her yelling at him in Brooklyn reminded me of the scene of Carrie yelling at Big in Manhattan.
So wait, did they only have 6 seasons?
They only had six seasons of Sex and the
That's
City.
interesting that it's, like, replicated in that way.
It's 6 seasons of Girls. So it made me think about that. I'm like, wait, this is kind of like the Girl and Carrie moment, where she's like, leave me alone, I'm good, I don't need it. And he calls her a kid just like Big called Carrie kid. So it made me think of Sex and the City. And they're both at 6 seasons.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens with that dynamic. And then, of course, you know, we'll just jump all over the place. We'll jump to the very end where she actually finally watches the movie. And what did you think of that?
Oh, God. In the beginning, I really did think she was just watching porn in her bed. And I was like, what is she doing? And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh, my God, this is so awful. But then I kept watching it, and I was like, oh, my God, like, is that how they really met? Like, they were at a candy shop, and he, like, wrote on her hand, and it was like, the pain is meant for you to remember me. I'm like, that's so dramatic, and it's kind of cute. I liked it.
I liked it because, just to go back a little bit, where Jess is telling her, like, you can't just detach yourself from a relationship. And I think when Adam showed up to her house that morning, she's like, leave me alone, I'm good, I'm over it. When she actually sat down to watch Full Disclosure, which the episode is named after the movie, same thing that I said about, well, a few of us said about Adam making this film, bringing up a little bit of old feelings. I caught a little bit, like a little second of her watching it and looking back at her past. Because I think when you're in a relationship, sometimes you don't realize the things that are happening. But when you get to look at it from the outside and you think to yourself, wow, is this what it was like? Is this what the good part? Is this what I missed? Do I miss this? Do I miss Adam? Like, I don't know. I felt like a little glimpse of like a second of her thinking about what if, or maybe. I don't know.
I think with relationships in general, if you can't take a lesson from that relationship, good or bad, then there hasn't been any type of closure. And I think in both sets with Adam and even with Hannah, it felt to me like they broke up, and then they're just proceeding on with their life like they didn't learn anything from that relationship, whether it be romantic or not. So it felt like she was just kind of definitely reliving it after that last part where he kind of gives that doughy eye feel, as you know, and you know, you're reliving the good memories, because you know, the freaky
How could there be closure though when Adam moved on after she had moved back from Iowa, and then the minute the thing doesn't work out with Mimi Rose, then he wants to pursue Hannah, but she's with Fran, and then like when Hannah's available or whatever, then he's with Jessa. It's just like such bad timing to not allow for that closure.
Well, the thing about closure is that you don't need the other person.
Yeah, sometimes you can get closure on your own.
It's more like you analyze everything that went on in the relationship, and you take the lessons, learn from it, and you improve yourself based off of those lessons.
Right.
Like sometimes
it helps to have that other person.
It does.
You can communicate about things. You can like say like make sure that you're on the same page about certain things, clarify where things went wrong. But you're not always going to have that luxury of having it, and that's the most difficult thing, is to be able to get closure on your own with having certain answers or certain questions that are left unanswered, and you just have to be okay with that.
Oh, well, I guess I'm cool with it. I'm good.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll just move
Thanks,
on.
ex-boo. Appreciate it.
There are some moments where, like, I think on the past, now that I'm older, where there were times where I thought I needed the other person to have closure, but then there were times where I was forced to be like, actually, no, you don't. Like, you're going to have to get over this because you're going to be stuck in a situation. So I've definitely been in both situations where I thought I needed the other person. And then I actually had to grow up and be like, I actually don't. Yeah. I'm good. And a few years later, they sometimes happen to pop up and you're like, I'm good. Like,
like don't pop into my life
I'm doing
now.
good. Please don't get me off that track. I was doing so good, and sometimes it happens.
I don't know. Seems like more of a Dr. Phil thing. Well, it's like, you're born alone. Just keep it pushing. Anywho, what I really found interesting was also the Hannah and Marnie kind of dinner lunch thing that they had in the apartment. What did you guys think of that situation?
I love that she told Marnie, like, just flat out, she's like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. And of course, Marnie...
It was about Marnie first.
It's always about Marnie. It
always is.
It's never not going to be about Marnie.
But I love how honest Hannah's become. Like, she even goes... I mean, you kind of... Like, when she was talking about Ray or whatever, Hannah's like, you kind of were a horrible C-word.
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep. I think, like, this season, the last season, Hannah, her character is... just over it. Like, I feel like she's just like, you know what? I need to grow up. Now I'm definitely growing up because I'm pregnant. Yeah. And she, like, I feel like this episode, like, the way she told Jessa, the way she told Adam, the way she told Marnie, like, look.
It's like she has the life sucked out of her, though. Do you notice that? She's just like, I am so, like, done. It's like she just doesn't have the energy for this anymore. I think
it's for the people. Like, you kind of get to a point... You kind of get to a point in your life, if you're lucky, that you realize that, all right, this is what I'm trying to do, and if you guys want to come along for the ride, great. But if you're gonna waste my time, I can't be there for you. So I think, you know, the thing with Marnie is, Hannah called her over. Hannah called her over, and it wasn't even like, oh, let's just hang out. Hannah called her over, and she knew that Hannah had news to tell her. So it's not like one of those surprise whatever. Right. So she knew Hannah had something to tell her, whether it was good or bad. And then instead of waiting for that news, oh, by the way, you know, Ray broke up with me, and he shouldn't have broke up with me because that was the best thing.
He should be grateful.
Yeah.
Girl.
That I graced him with my beautiful presence.
And then she's like, by the way, what's your news? Like, your friend called you over, but it's always about Marnie. Yeah. And I'm just hoping and praying that at the end that someone gets it. Like, girl, it's not always about you.
I can't stand her anymore. Like, but there's sometimes are parts of Marnie when she's talking to Hannah, and like I see that she is a good friend. There are parts of her where I'm like, oh, Marnie is a nurturing person. Right. She wants to be there for people. She wants to be needed. But obviously, she's narcissistic in many other aspects. Right. But there are times where I'm like, no, like, I see the good in Marnie, too. It's just, she's
trying.
Yeah. She's so, like...
She has to learn how to contain it. But what I did like about Marnie is that the advice... So then there was that... This was I was talking about in the beginning, of that switch of dynamic between the characters. So Marnie's like, well, are you going to tell the father? And Hannah's like, well, no. And it's like, you don't do that. That's not responsible. Right. Like, whether it was a one-off or not, at least give the person the option. Right. Yeah. So, and Hannah's like, no, I don't have to do that. This is, you know, it's so, what do you call it? Not patriotic.
Patriarchal.
Patriarchal about it. And it's like, no, it took two people to make. Yeah. Give him that option. You know.
At the same time, later on in the episode, she does mention to her dad, or in that environment, in her dad's house, that if someone were to be artificially inseminated, would you go tell the father? Like, she makes that point, but this is a little different.
But it's different because, you know, when you're, like her dad said, when you're donating your sperm, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that someone's going to use your sperm and there's going to be a baby out of it. Yeah. When you're having unprotected sex, which you really should be thinking about that anyway, when you're having unprotected sex, but a lot of people don't, and they assume, oh, the pull-out, like Marnie said, the pull-out method. She's like, it doesn't work. I know hundreds of pull-out babies.
This is what happens when people are not educated properly about sex.
No, people are not educated. No, people are educated. They know.
Hannah knows.
They just do it
people
anyway.
Just do it anyway. There's so many things that people know about sex and unprotected sex and pull-out, and people still do it anyway. Right. And when they get pregnant or when someone else is pregnant, it's like they're so shocked, and it's like, but you knew going.
What are you
this
talking
can be
about? It just slipped in.
But he pulled out. Pulling out doesn't always work.
It was just the tip.
Just saying. I'm not speaking from personal, but I'm just saying pulling out doesn't always work, guys.
I mean, you take that chance. And like I said last week, it's I've known some people who've had the pull-out babies as well. Yeah. But I also know their backstory and their situation, and, you know, they were on the verge of a breakup, and she might have used it to keep the guy. So, you know, on a subconscious level, I honestly think that's, she either wanted some type of drama to happen in her life, or she was kind of subconsciously wanting something to beyond her.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot too, where, you even though it's not the best situation to have a baby, it's just like, oh, well, I need something more to live for. And you have the baby for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons. But I laughed when Marnie said to her, after she said she wasn't going to tell the father, Marnie's like, remember when I said that you had everything together? She's like, I'm taking that back.
Right.
You don't have it together. You need to tell Paul Louis. Love his name.
I know his name.
And that's what I liked about, that's kind of what I don't know if the right word is respect, but that's why I start to like Marnie again.
Yeah.
For that brief moment. It was like, okay, she's actually giving her some solid advice.
Yeah.
And it's no longer about her. And now she's kind of almost thinking about the baby, because she made some references like, okay, well, I think in her mind she's gonna be the cool aunt and all this other stuff.
The godmother.
The godmother.
Yeah, she's already putting herself in that position when Hannah might have, other options.
She always needs to be number one. Like, Marnie always needs to be the
Hannah didn't even say she was gonna be the godmother.
There is gonna be a godmother.
Right.
I think the godmother might be Jessa. Oh, sorry, we're not in predictions yet.
Well, it's not even that. Like, isn't a godmother, like, I associate it with more religious practices. So I don't know if people actually do that if they don't.
People, you have a godmother, like if something happens to your parents,
right.
They
the
take
kid
over.
Goes to you. To the godmother.
Does that really happen?
It does not.
It's usually just a title. It's
like a religious thing, because in that case, that usually happens to the next of kin.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but they do that in the Kardashians. Kardashian reference, really quickly. Kourtney Kardashian decided to make Khloe Kardashian the godmother of her kids, as opposed to Kim.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're all sisters, so either way, the kids would go to them anyway.
Yeah.
But that's true. Like, if it was to go to court, you can't say, "Well, I'm the godmother." I don't think it works like that. I think it's just
unless it's in a will.
Yeah, that's it.
Even that, like, I have a godmother, and I think I saw them up until I was like 8. And I don't know where they are, but my aunts, I know where she at.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I thought that was you on TV. I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
God.
girl.
Hi, Auntie Ingrid. Anyways, so another thing about, let's move on to Hannah and her father and her father's partner. I love how they're just settled in now. It's like he's gonna spend the next 20 years in his second life.
Yeah, and then you look at her mom. That's what we were talking about. Divorce with women and men is so different. Where men can move on with a man or a woman, and women, it's usually harder for a woman to get back on her feet. And her poor mom, I'm like, damn, that kind of sucks.
She needs to hang out with Marnie's mom.
She really does, because Marnie's mom is living the life in Jersey.
That sounds like the worst idea. Worst idea.
I don't know why.
She's having fun.
Yeah, she's having fun. Or do you want to like sit alone, depressed, eating marijuana gummy bears?
Exactly. I love Rita Wilson on the show, by the way.
Oh, her outfit and her shoes were fierce.
Those heels were so Jersey.
Oh my gosh.
If you guys don't, I'm from New York, so I don't want you thinking I'm shading people from Jersey. I love New Jersey people. New Jersey people are amazing, but you can tell a New Jersey person's outfit, and she was super Jersey by those shoes, and I loved it.
Really?
Jersey. Like Real Housewives of Jersey. Like those shoes, everything New Jersey.
Huh. Okay.
It's not a bad thing.
I know, because I would wear those shoes.
They're cute, but you can tell like a Jersey girl with the big hair, the makeup, the shoes, the outfit. You're like, oh, she's from New Jersey.
Is it Jersey Italian, or is it just Jersey all the way around?
I think it's Jersey all the way around.
Okay.
Like if you go to Atlantic City in Jersey, you walk in, you're like, oh, everybody here is from New Jersey.
So what's your handle again?
At Kiki Boom Boom.
So don't put it on the page. Just send all the comments about Jersey.
Jersey, tri-state area. We're neighbors. I'm from New York. I love my Jersey people. Just when you guys drive. But other than that, I love the Jersey folks.
Again, any comments, don't put it on the YouTube page. Just at Kiki Boom Boom.
Come for me, Jersey.
Yeah, send all those comments there, because I don't want to read it. I'll put a thumbs down quick, because I told you in advance. So back to her father and his boyfriend. So they were giving. So what did you think of their advice to Hannah?
Keith and Dad. I think like Hannah's still trying to figure out what she claims she's gonna keep the baby, and I like that because it was two different perspectives. Like Dad's like, it's her body, it's her choice.
Right.
But Keith, her dad's partner, was saying his story. Like, if I was to be a father, which my friends wanted my sperm, I wanted to be a part of the kid's life.
Right.
So it kind of gave Hannah that perspective, like, wait, should I tell him? Because I think she was going into this like, I'm not gonna tell the baby's father at all. I'm gonna live this life he's not gonna know the kid. But I think it was kind of cool to get the other side, to hearing dad's boyfriend say, well, maybe you should tell him, because I know if it was me, I would want to at least know.
Right.
I see it more from the perspective of the kid. I just think it sucks if you're a kid and you don't know, and that question like just bothers you, because at whatever point you're a child, like you want to know.
Right.
And like if you're already blocking that from happening, it's not fair for your kid.
Oh yeah, I have a cousin. This is funny, but not funny. I have a cousin like that. He's older than me, and he doesn't know who his father is.
It's not funny at all.
No, but it's hilarious
Not
because
funny.
he asks his mom all the time, not all the time, but once in a while. And the
Right.
last thing she told him is like, he's a white man. And that was it. So he's like, all I know, and he says it in a funny way. He's like, all I know he's a white man floating around either somewhere in South America or in America. I have no idea. And it's just kind of like, you have to meet my aunt. My aunt is
I love
hilarious.
it. Like, I mean, I get, in certain situations, I get why women do it. If you want to protect your child from whoever if the father's a bad person, I totally get that. But you're right. Like, sometimes the kids will grow up wanting to know, even if you don't want the guy in their life. I always say, at least let the kid know, like, you did come from someplace. He's not the greatest, but this is who this is. And when you become a certain age, if you want to get to know that person, great.
Right.
But I understand if mothers want to protect their kids from if it's a crazy
This
guy.
reminds me so much of This Is Us, if you ever watched that show, because like just Randall and him, you know.
I don't know. It's
I
just,
cry at This Is Us.
I know. I can't watch. I have never watched a single episode of This Is Us without crying.
But that's the same
okay, I
thing.
guess
Like,
I'm not watching it then.
So good.
but same thing. He didn't know who his dad is, and you grow up questioning yourself, who you are, and where you actually come from. So I think it's always wise to let the kid know, even if you don't want the guy a part of their life, at least let them know where they come from.
Right. Again, mothers out there, please send your comments, because it feels like with kids, you want to protect them, and if you come to a point where it's not a surprise and you're in a good place in your life and you kind of gotten the flow of things, and now you throw a kid into the mix, even the amount of time that you want to protect them, you can't. It's like 18 years of even pretty much the whole kid's lifetime until you pass away of the unexpected, because you have no idea, and you can't control. You can only semi-control this kid up to a certain point, but you can't control them when they go to school. You can't control the people around them. So it's very, I think Hannah's slowly starting to realize that, you made that decision, possibly keep the kid. I think we're in for another twist, but you made the decision to possibly keep the kid. Now Elijah might be possibly on board. Her dad's definitely on board. All the everything's kind of playing into the role, but now you're adding the father into the mix. Does he want to be there? Does he not want to be there? Will it change the dynamic of the relationship? What's this kid gonna be like? Is it gonna be a boy? Is it gonna be a girl? Is it gonna be a gay boy? Because that's what she prefers. Right. So it's just kind of, it's all these questions I don't think any parent ever answer. Like, you never get answered until it happens. Like, oh, my kid's really smart. They went to university. That's great. One thing off the plate. Like,
I give it to parents. I give it to anybody with a kid. It's a full-time job. I give it to anyone. It's beyond
full-time.
Even if you didn't give birth, if you are taking care of a child, a caretaker, if you are a mother or a father, I give it to anyone with a child. It's not my thing, but I give it to you, because that's a job.
It is.
It's tough because, like you say, parents want to protect their kids, and you literally have to protect them from any and everything. But like when they go off to school, when they go off to work, when they want to move on the other side of the country,
you really
house.
Can't. You could, especially a 2-year-old.
Oh man, you have to watch them like every second.
Yeah. So I think it's slowly kind of dawning on. I think you really don't know. Like I have a lot of friends who have kids, and the greatest part about it is playing with them and then giving them back.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
So it's
you get all the best parts.
Right. You drop them off like a rental movie. Here you go. Thank you so much.
Or the minute they start crying, it's like, oh, okay, here, appreciate it.
Not knocking the moms, but I think the ones who don't have kids, that's a good feeling. You get to be like, here you go, have a good night.
Right.
Bring them back tomorrow.
So,
but I think you're right. I think Hannah has a lot to think about now, because like Marty said to her at the table, like, wow, you're going to be responsible for someone else.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't really think about that. Like, they get excited they're having a baby, but they really don't think like, wow, I have to really be responsible for someone else. So I think now she has a lot to think about. Like, am I going to tell the dad? And you see where she tries to find him pretty much, and she can't get a hold of Paul Louis at water skiing.
She didn't even try. Well, she tried, and then the minute the operator was like, "Oh, I'm,"
she's like, "No, I can't."
She's like, "No, I made a mistake. I made a mistake." Okay.
And then let's go to Hannah and Jessa's relationship.
Oh man.
Jessa obviously still cares about Hannah tremendously, and Hannah has every right to not give her a second chance. She has every right. I totally empathize with her, but it's like, come on, like, if it were me, I feel like I'm such a softie that if I had someone like Jessa in my life come in again, I'd be much softer than Hannah was.
Right.
But I'm just saying Hannah has every right to be dismissive like that because she's hurt. And the fact that Jessa says, you hurt me, she's totally valid in saying that. Like, those emotions are valid, but it's like she doesn't realize that she's not in the same place she was before, and that, you know...
Yeah, she's a new Hannah. I just think...
her memory has almost been erased from Hannah's...
Like, part of me, I'm like, does Jessa really sincerely want to be friends with Hannah again, or she just wants this to clear her conscience? Like, you know, when you do something bad, some people do something bad, and you kind of want that to be erased. You want the other person, like, they must forgive me so you can feel better about yourself.
I think it's both.
You think it's both?
I think it's definitely both. I think a lot of it is what you're saying, like her having her conscience cleared.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, Jessa knew that her pursuing anything with Adam was, like, wrong. Like, she even said, to Adam, like, hey, like, that was a mistake. Like, I can't do this. Hannah's my friend. So it's like she knew it was wrong. She did it anyway. I mean, I think things aren't so black and white. It was a very difficult situation.
Right.
Like, some people prioritize love over friendship, and I get that. But at the same time, she can't expect Hannah to just automatically take her back just because at one point she was good friends with her.
Right.
But I don't like how Hannah dismissed her by saying, I don't think we ever were really friends. That was kind of messed up.
Right.
Like, Hannah knows that Jessa was there for her in the
Well,
past.
it's the same thing that when Elijah said all those crazy things.
Yeah.
But I think with the relationship with Hannah and Jessa, what Jessa should have done, and I'm like a real big advocate of this, whether Hannah wanted to listen to her or not, and whether, you know, they all believe that there's wrong or not, Jessa should have came to her after Hannah found out, or preferably before.
Yep.
But there was a time period where either Hannah found out or you found out, like, you know, this is what we're going to go with. So you had a window of opportunity to sit Hannah down and say, this is what's happening. You might be really pissed off, and take the screaming and Hannah's, you know, character, and then at least that's done. Because now if she did that, and then, you know, she found out Hannah was pregnant, and she goes, like, you know, I still really care about you, whatever, I think it might have been a little bit softer. But the fact that there was no conversation, Hannah found out, and then Hannah had to confront them.
Yeah.
That's the pissy part.
I was kind of happy when she, the petty side of me,
When
I
she
was
told
happy when
Adam?
she told, when she told Jessa, like, you can leave now. I don't care.
Right.
Thanks for sharing. I'm not your great friend. You call me a great friend. And that's why I said I don't know if Jessa's doing it. I think she still cares about Hannah, but I was kind of happy that Hannah kind of stood up for herself.
Right.
Because it's like, it's the beginning of the day, Adam's there, then it's Jessa. It's like she can't
Too
really
much.
get rid of them, kind of, because they're still there, and they're still going to always be there now that they're making this film.
Of course.
And they just keep popping up. And I think for her, it's like, leave me alone. So I was kind of happy that she kind of stood up for herself and was like, I'm good. And like, the whole, sorry, I'm so
go
sorry,
ahead.
but the whole thing with Elijah, maybe she said it.
Let Mina speak, damn it.
I'm sorry.
That was my bad.
Don't come
Go
for me,
ahead.
guys.
Go ahead. That was my bad. Go ahead.
God, they're gonna kill me in the comments. I just wanted to finish this really quick. I was just gonna say, just like Elijah said those mean things to Hannah to hurt her, of course I think that she just wanted to hurt Jessa a little bit, but I was happy that she stood up for herself. Sorry.
Okay, no, I was going to ask you both a question. I was going to say, do you think when Jessa said R.I.P., like, rest in peace, Hannah, do you think that there's any sort of, like, undertone of, like, either suicide or there's just the friendship dying completely? Do you think that has any sort of, like, foreshadowing value for the nature of their relationship in the future?
I think it's the friendship, because she's like, she said before she said that, you know, what are you going to do? We're just going to figure out how to coexist and essentially never known each other at one point. And Hannah's like, yeah. So I think it was just more of Jessa. I think part of Jessa thought in hopes that Hannah would eventually get over it, and then they become friends. Because if you look at Jessa now, she doesn't have any friends
At
Right.
all. Not even her own
But
cousin.
you can never erase someone's memory. If you've ever watched, or like you can never erase your memory of someone else. If you've ever watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Great movie. I had to watch that in
Spoiler
college.
alert. Can you erase
You
your
can't
memory?
erase it, but you don't have to go back to that relationship. Like, I don't have to be your friend if I don't want to. Yes, I'm gonna have those memories, great, but I don't have to tell you. I don't have to be your friend if I don't want to. You know, because some people just outgrow people.
Right.
And the older you get, sometimes you're in a situation, you're in a state, and you're like, maybe I'm outgrown these people and I don't need them in my life.
Right.
Same thing with an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. You had great times, but it doesn't mean that you have to. I don't have to tell you. I just feel like Hannah doesn't owe Jessa anything.
Right.
I don't think she owes her anything.
She doesn't, but it would be nice. But she doesn't.
That's what I'm thinking too with the whole, full disclosure. It's just kind of like in all of these relationships, they've all kind of let each other, they let Marnie be essentially all about her, and they didn't sit down with her and say, hey, it's about, because I was like that one point, and my friend sat me down and she's like, look, it was cute when you were a kid, but now like that's not, and it made me very conscious and aware. I was like, okay, I get it. Not necessarily it changed 100%, but I'm aware of it. And I think a lot of these characters, they're just not aware of their character flaws, and nobody's telling them. And as a friend, I believe that whether it hurts or not, the honesty is the best thing.
Yeah.
So I think with Jessa and Hannah actually really need to have some type of conversation, whether they're friends or not after it, but at least there's closure with that relationship, because that relationship, that definitely needs some type of conversation. Hannah and Adam, I mean, I think they definitely have the potential to do that, but more of their friendship, because they were friends longer than Adam.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've done a lot more things together, and they bonded a lot more. So I think, especially for Jessa's sake, I think they should have a conversation whether Hannah's going to do it.
Right.
That's a whole.
Bros before hoes,
I mean, how are both Adam and Jessa gonna stay out of Hannah's life forever?
They're
I don't
not.
see that.
That's why I'm
not
like,
gonna
leave
happen.
her alone.
It's not gonna happen.
Like, I kind of felt Hannah. It's like, you're just tired. It's like, bro, give me at least a month. Like, let me deal with it how I want to deal with it, and then maybe I'll think this is okay.
The one time ever that Hannah doesn't want attention from anyone.
And she's
at
like,
the same time, she does want attention.
and
she keeps bringing up.
She does,
Oh, I'm
but
pregnant,
it's kind of like, if you're gonna keep
she
putting
wants
this
attention.
If you're gonna keep putting this in my face, it's like, give me the time. Let me let you know when I'm ready. And I just feel like and I get why, because Jessa still wants to be Hannah's friend and she wants her to forgive her. Adam wants closure, but it's like, give me the time, and then I'll let you know if I'm ready to be your friend.
But she could say that.
True.
See, the thing is, she's not. It's kind of one of the situations. Okay, she told Adam she was pregnant. She didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I think, again, subconsciously, like, because you just said that Hannah, likes the attention. So I think subconsciously because she doesn't need to. She doesn't. Elijah, of course, because he lives with her.
Right.
Adam, she doesn't have to tell him. Even maybe Marnie, but how often does she see Marnie? And even like how Marnie acts.
The Adam thing was kind of an impulse thing, don't you think? Though it was kind of like a get off my back.
Because he's like, you're not over it, and she's like, I am over. I think she was trying to prove a point.
It was like a snub thing.
Like, I think she wanted the attention, but I think she was trying to prove a point. Like, I am, even though I don't think she's over it.
Yeah, I don't think she was gonna tell him until that happened.
Yeah, I think she just wanted to be like, I'm one up. Oh, I'm over you. I'm pregnant. Which I think deep down inside, she wanted his attention. She wanted his attention.
Is she a sociopath? Because I want to know the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath. I need to look it up on my phone.
Jessa calls herself the sociopath.
Okay,
she calls Hannah the psychopath.
Because a psychopath is worse, remember?
Yeah. A sociopath, according to Webster's, is someone who behaves in a dangerous or violent way towards the other person and does not feel guilty about such behavior. So that's what Jessa says who she says she is.
Like, she doesn't feel guilty for her bad actions. True.
And then a psychopath. Oh wait, I had a better definition here. Give me 1 second.
UrbanDictionary.com.
But she does feel guilty because she keeps knocking on Hannah's door.
Yeah.
True.
I'm just saying.
But before, the old Jessa would do shitty things.
She would.
And feel no remorse.
And then a psychopath, a mentally ill or unstable person, especially a person affected with an antisocial personality or disorder.
So one is like mental illness that you can't control,
and Hannah
the other
does take medication.
She does. And in the movie, they're making her mentally ill.
It's not funny. It's only It's only funny because
it's funny the way she found out.
Reactions to people calling her mentally ill, where she's like, "You guys are making it like." Her face literally reads like, you're making me feel like a freak or something. But obviously nothing wrong with mental illness, and it shouldn't be as stigmatized as it is. Like, I mean, if you take medication, good for you.
Exactly.
If you're getting help for something that affects you.
She found out that they made her mentally ill in the movie. She's like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They made
it a whole thing.
But it's funny because I don't think they really talked about it up until there was one episode, I can't remember what season it was in, where she
was like shaking.
Yeah, where she's shaking and the parents like, why didn't you take your medication? Like, I had no idea. I just really thought that she was just just into herself, and when you're in your own world, you do crazy and stupid things. Like, I really just thought that was the case. and then it turns out that she does take medication.
My heart literally like sank when I saw that episode. I was like, oh my god, like that must suck to have to deal with that every day and not
Right.
be able to block it out.
Yeah.
But there was times too, because I think it was in season 1 or the beginning of season 2 where she was cleaning her ears, and then she
Oh,
kept on going deeper.
yeah.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, like I don't.
obsession.
Yeah, it's just kind of like those little ticks
Yeah.
that she almost threw in, and then if you didn't get it, okay, now here's the episode that
Yeah,
like
it
look
kind
back
of makes
and,
you want to go back and watch like the old episodes. So
Yeah.
you can be like, that's what she was doing.
And then that's
Yeah.
even something else that she needs to think about too, because like I'm not familiar with mental illness, but does that pass on genetically, or
Oh, it totally does.
Yeah.
It just depends on what it is.
right? And then the father, you have no idea.
You don't know who he is, what his family
Yeah.
background
Yeah.
is. As my great grandmother would say, can't have kids with people with bad blood. It's a joke. She used to
Bad genes,
say.
yeah.
True story.
I don't even want to go down. I'm like, oh, you don't wear glasses. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my parents are, anyways.
Yeah.
Whole nother story.
But it's true. She doesn't know, his side, and hopefully, as we've seen in the previews, hopefully he'll come around, and
Or maybe not.
maybe not. Maybe he'll ghost.
Would you categorize any of the characters as sociopaths or psychopaths? Like honestly.
All of them? No.
All of them, yes.
All of them all have an issue.
Yeah.
Especially Marnie.
But
She's
a
number one on my
to
hit
go
list.
so far as to call someone a sociopath, I feel like Marnie's kind of like that though.
I just feel that they're really lucky. Lucky in the way that there's certain.
They don't have real issues that affect a lot of people.
I wouldn't say
you mean?
real. I wouldn't say real issues because everybody, no matter if you're rich or poor, has
yeah.
issues. But it's just like they're just lucky to get to live in their own world for so long.
Yeah.
It's just like imagine. Because I mean, there's several occasions throughout all the seasons where they just didn't feel like working, but somehow there's still a roof over their head.
And
Yeah.
they're living in Brooklyn, which is really expensive.
Exactly. So, and the fact
Really
that
expensive.
right, and the fact that Hannah's considering having this child, which is fine, and maybe now she is making money off because she just I think it was either the previews or when she was talking to Adam, she's going to do or Elijah, she's going to do an interview for Esquire.
Yeah.
So she's either making some type of money, but then she also probably subconsciously knows that when this baby comes, her dad and her mom might throw in some money in the pot.
Of course.
So, it's just kind of one of those things where, a lot of people don't have those options.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's almost like, I wouldn't necessarily say envious, but it's just that's almost like a privilege to have, to be in the world for so long and not have to deal with, those problems.
Yeah.
I think the only person that I remember working is Shoshana, who actually had like a job.
But that was by choice.
And that's by choice. Like she went to get
She
a job
didn't-
by
she
choice.
didn't need it,
She didn't really
but
need
she
the
was like an
job. But she's like the only
overachiever.
person I can really think of that went to
Right.
a job.
Right.
Her and Ray.
Right.
Everyone else, this is true. I don't remember
Yeah,
them
where
working.
was Ray this episode? I
And
missed
Shoshana
him.
too
And Shoshana.
was out of it. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, he was there in spirit because
Marnie mentioned
Who was?
Yeah, Ray was there
Oh,
in
Ray,
spirit.
Ray, Ray.
he
yeah.
should be grateful that
He was there
I
in
wanted to
spirit.
date him.
Oh my
Marnie.
gosh.
And this is why
God,
Desi, she just, I just feel bad because I'm like, I hope Desi doesn't kill himself.
No, I was thinking that this episode. I literally was thinking, I hope he doesn't.
There's a lot
I
of
thought
suicide
there's
references.
So
There's
a
much
lot of
death,
suicide
like
going
just
on.
lingering over everyone. But one of my favorite quotes that I think it made all of us laugh, but it was the funniest quote of the episode, was when Elijah says, "Anyone buying leather gloves after 10 is clearly a goddamn murderer."
Oh,
Working at
boy.
Bendel's.
Yikes.
So
That felt like
funny.
an OJ reference, but
did.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
But I
Lena
think he
Dunham,
got
I
those
see-
as a gift or
The
something.
glove
He
does
did.
not
Yeah.
fit, you
Nicole
must
actually
acquit.
bought them for him.
Yeah, that was anyways, that was really good.
That's
show.
another crazy.
That's a whole nother crazy story that was actually real. So as far as predictions, what do we think?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay.
No lights
I have
today?
a bunch
Okay.
of predictions. First of all, I think that Elijah is gonna do well with acting because just watching him go over the lines, I was like, "You're so good. You're so dramatic." And the fact that he could like turn it on and then turn it off, like, I think you should do this. By the way,
Yes.
Like I was just like, he's gold. Like he's gonna become an actor, just like Hannah's gonna become a writer and get published. Like we all know this.
Very Sex and the City.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. And I also think that someone is gonna die. I don't know who it is.
God damn it, someone's gonna die.
don't know who it is.
Shoshana,
I don't want it to
it's
be
so
Shoshana.
hard
No, I don't want to
say goodbye.
Stop.
To
Shosh.
No. It is gonna be. I think there is gonna be one death. It
Right.
doesn't have to be the main cast, but there's gonna be one other death before the end of the season. I also think that. Yeah, I mentioned this before. I think that Adam is gonna fall for Hannah again. still like on the fence on whether or not Jessa will get back into Hannah's life. But I think if Hannah does choose to have the baby, that Jessa is going to be there for her, or like manage to like work her way in. As for Paul Louis, I think Hannah will be able to get a hold of him, and I think he's going to have the attitude like, yeah, if you need help with anything, I'll help you. Like, he seems like a nice guy, but kind of go with the flow, not really have an opinion on anything at all. But I'm trying to think, just like based off of the stuff I saw from the movie, from Adam and Hannah's film, like, I think you make me feel too good, like I break things, that kind of stuff is gonna get to Hannah, because it's a side of him that maybe she hadn't seen before until he's expressed these internal thoughts he's had on film.
Right.
So it might get her to like rethink everything and be like, well, maybe I should include Adam in my life, maybe I should talk to him, maybe I should get closure.
As a friendship or a relationship?
I think friendship, but with romantic undertones. Yeah, not relationship.
I agree with you. I think that I think Adam, because he's such a nurturer, and after she told him that she was pregnant, you can tell now he definitely cares. It's like he feels like he has to be a part of her life or her baby's life. So I feel like that's gonna bring them a little bit closer. I kind of want them to get back together. So I don't know if the baby's gonna bring them back together, or like you said, just a friendship. But I think he's definitely gonna be a part of the baby's life, and I think she's gonna let her guard down. I think she's gonna let Jessa back in. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it, but
There's
I think
nothing wrong with her doing it, though, if things are patched up accordingly.
I say don't do it, because can you trust Jessa again in the future? I don't know. I'm just saying, she's gonna sleep with your baby daddy. No, I'm kidding.
You get burned once, it could definitely
Listen,
happen
some people
again.
have a lot of trust issues, so it's like, can I trust you? But I think her having the baby, I think the end of like this season's gonna be like a baby shower. The baby's gonna be born, and Jessa will be there. I think their friendship will.
Who will the godmother be?
I don't think it's gonna be Jessa. Maybe Shauna if she doesn't die.
So I like that no one says Marnie, even though Marnie has the closest relationship to Hannah.
Marnie assumes she's gonna be the godmother.
Is Hannah Jewish, or is she like non?
I thought she was Jewish.
I think she's Jewish.
Okay.
Well, the actress is, but I don't know about the character.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah. What is she in the, in the show?
I assumed.
I don't know, but I think the baby is gonna bring everybody back together. I don't know if like anyone's gonna date, or I just think that because you don't see everybody now, I think once this baby's born, if she does have it, I still think she might surprise us and throwing an abortion in there. But
what if she has twins?
That would be hilarious if she had twins.
But
I think she may think
Elijah
about,
gets one, and then everyone gets.
I think she may think about the abortion, because you still have time. She's only a few weeks pregnant.
2 months.
She's 2 months pregnant.
So she has like one. I think it's up to 3 months.
Depending on the state you live in. I think New York City. I think you can go a little bit further than that.
Really?
I don't know. Please don't come for me. I don't know. I'm saying.
Well,
What about New Jersey?
Well, yeah.
You know
for you guys on YouTube and iTunes universe,
if
please
you
let
know,
us know. Yeah.
If you know, but I believe you can go to 4. I think.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know, so please don't come for me. I'm pro whatever you want it to be. I think she might. I think after telling everyone that she's having this baby, everyone's gonna have their opinions, and I think that might weigh in on her. So I think that might be a little abortion thing. I don't know if anyone's gonna die, and if it is, I think it's gonna be Desi.
You said something before.
Oh, Desi's a good one.
I could actually see that happening for sure. You said something earlier with how Hannah like wants attention and stuff, because you kind of see like she kind of just wants to do whatever everyone wants her to do. She wants to do the opposite of that. So you see like she made an annoying comment earlier in the episode, how when Marnie said, like, you're going to be a great mom, like, I can actually see it. And then she's like, well, now you're making me think, like, do I even want it?
Right,
like,
exactly.
She's like,
you make me want to do it less.
But I feel like every joke has, like, some sort of serious underlying thing. So
it does.
it goes back to what you said, like, a couple episodes back.
Yeah, I can even see Paul Louis trying to come into the baby's life and her saying, no, I don't even want this, and get an abortion.
Almost just a cry for, like, attention.
Just for some attention. That's my prediction.
Definitely, every episode, not every episode, but it just seems this episode took so many different twists that Leah likes to like F with us.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that, we might get all on board, prepare for her to have a baby, and then, it could be second to last episode or even the last episode. It's like, nope, change my mind.
This is really sad and dark, but no one ever like guessed that. What if she has a miscarriage? And
that's true.
You never find out what she would have done anyway. It's
That's
just
true.
like kind of left open to
This is actually a fact. I know this. Miscarriages are high for first time pregnancies. So,
and also when you're under a lot of stress.
yeah. Well, is she really under a lot of stress?
She's not under a lot of stress.
Adam
Just that
telling her to watch a
Adam
movie.
But I'm letting you know when someone is like, or like any sort of trauma, you lose the kid.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That can definitely happen. I think that she's gonna definitely surprise us.
I hope nothing happens to her mom because I have like this bad intuition.
Ooh, that would be a good one too.
like
I think
really bad intuition.
I don't think Shoshana's gonna die. I kind of want her to, but based off of not in a bad way, but that would be a good twist of the story.
Right.
But if they are looking to do a movie, then it just almost like TLC without Left Eye. It seems kind of weird.
True story.
So I think now that you said the mom, definitely who's it, Laureen or Maureen?
I think it's last time we got it
so
wrong.
confused.
It's
I don't know
Lorraine.
what
Hannah's
the right
mom.
answer is.
Hannah's mom.
I think either Hannah's mom or Desi
I think Desi
are gonna pass
could
away.
see
I definitely
that.
see somebody dying.
Yeah.
That just
I
seems
see
like
Desi because of his drug addiction and the fact that the thing is that he has been trying to get help. It's not like he hasn't been trying.
Right.
And it would be so sad to see him go when he's been trying so hard to get the help that he needs. He's just not surrounded by the right people.
Even at the end
he
when he
cannot
says-
be around someone like Marnie.
right.
Even at the end when he walks on, he's like, "Bye, Marn." That to me, I'm like, is he
Okay,
getting
it's
ready to
final
kill
goodbye.
himself? I feel like she's gonna find him dead. I felt like that was. He looked at her in the club.
Right.
They gave each other
God.
the nod, and he said,
I think
"Bye,
that might be the
Marn."
wake up call that Marnie needs to get her shit together. Like a very extreme one,
Right.
obviously, but I think it might almost be like, not everything's about you. Life is fragile. Like
Right.
the things that you are getting upset about. I mean, come on, get your
Even
stuff
her mom's
together.
like, "Marnie, how can you not tell when a person's high?" It's
Right.
like Marnie. Desi shows up high. He's out of it. He's trying to get her attention, and she's like, "I need to be a great godmother for Hannah's
Right.
baby." And it's like, girl, you need to.
But I
hone it in
think
right quick.
Hannah's mom dying will be more impactful for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like as far as a grow up moment, and
Especially how it affects the husband, the
Right.
ex-husband, and
yeah,
everyone.
it
The
affects
ripple
because
down effect.
with Hannah, if Hannah's mom passes away, then she's obviously gonna whether she decides to keep the baby or not. That's gonna bring everybody in to rally around Hannah, not in a woe is me type way, but
Right.
everybody.
She just lost her mom and has a baby.
Exactly. So I think
Yeah.
that would definitely, and that would also force Hannah to grow, because that's going to be one of those changing moments where you realize that I can't depend on mommy and daddy. I really don't have a safety net, even though kind of sort of I do. I need to
Yeah.
take care of business and handle this all on my own.
And grow
So
up.
that would be a
I
definite good.
hope it doesn't happen, but I really sense something with the mom, and I
Well,
don't
yeah,
want it to happen.
she's clearly going into a depression.
Yeah.
Lena Dunham's been doing good this season, so I
Yeah.
feel like she's gonna surprise all.
Oh,
of
yeah,
us.
you just-
each episode
yeah.
we all get surprised.
So definitely that Hannah and Adam, like you were saying, I definitely see more of her. She's going to be more inclined to have some type of friendship with Adam than with Jessa. And I think the only reason why she's still shutting Jessa out is because she didn't have the balls to say anything to her.
I agree.
Like if she had said something to her in the beginning of that window opportunity of saying like, look, this is what happened, I'm so sorry, but this is what I'm going to do, then you still have to respect that. You cannot like it, but you can still
Right.
respect it. So I think with Adam, it was just kind of, I think there's going to be more of a relationship there. And then if she says no, he's still going to force his way in there because
Yes.
it's almost in his mind, it's like a kid having a kid.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that Hannah's baby daddy, I kind of hope, and I think it's always dramatic, but I kind of hope she tells him and he's like, oh, cool, and hangs up. Like, I would die
That would be
laughing.
too predictable,
He
though.
does have a girlfriend though.
He does have a girlfriend. He's like, okay, cool, let me know what you want to do, and then hang up.
And then it takes a village to raise a child, so like all of
All the
them,
friends, they
everyone.
all-
Well,
Raise
everybody's
Probably
there in the
the
beginning, and then
girlfriends.
then the kid turns like 5, and you're like, oh, where are my
Where's
friends?
my friends?
Everybody's living, doing their own life, so it is what it is. But it's New York, so you can let me know how New Yorkers are, because everybody's so. I find in California it's a lot easier to do that because
Right.
everybody's not going through the 405 to see you and your baby. After
Well, New
some time.
York, I feel like, well, I know for me growing up, and if you live in like an apartment building, everyone's like family.
Right.
And that's just how New York City is. I knew I grew up with a bunch of people who were like my second mom, second grandmothers,
Yeah, play
brothers
aunts.
and sisters, play aunts. And that's, and especially if you're in a neighborhood, like kind of like where they are, and because they're a good group of friends, I see it happening more for them, like everyone putting in together to help Hannah raise her baby.
So, what do you think is going to happen next week specifically?
Ooh, next week. Now that she told Adam that she's pregnant, I feel like he's going, if he is in this episode next week, I feel like he's going to try again to try to make amends and try to be in her life. Trying to think of the previews.
Do you think Ray's gonna pop up? Ray and Shosh?
Yeah, I do.
I kind of hope so. I'm
'Cause
kind of
they have,
Might
missing
be
them
like a
now.
Ray and Shosh episode. They
Yeah.
should like give us a
Right.
break and then do like a Ray and
Because you haven't
Shosh.
seen them.
Yeah.
And it
Kinda
makes
miss
sense for
them.
them to get together and like have a moment. I also
Yeah.
this next episode specifically, I'm so excited to see Elijah audition. I want to see what it's gonna be like.
Yes.
I think it's gonna
He's
be
like, "Can I run
hilarious.
to the restroom for like 30 seconds?" She's like, "No."
But I'm happy that he's going to actually do it because before he was just sitting at home being bitter.
Right. And
Yeah.
the fact that he's sitting home being bitter, like he's paying rent.
Yeah.
How is he paying rent?
Bindles. Selling gloves.
The
He works at the
glove
store.
But I'm
place.
just saying, like, it's rent is not cheap. Like, you know, it's like
6
rent's
months
not
out.
What is
cheap.
his
They're not eating
dream,
top
though?
ramen.
Is his dream
Well,
Broadway star?
he
Must be a Broadway
he did Broadway. His dream was to become Broadway, and then he got derailed. And I think the old guy who broke his heart, kind of,
Yeah.
and then again, that's another. What type of world you're in? Somebody breaks your heart, and now you're just sitting on the couch for like, who has that
Must be nice.
luxury? Lucky people. Anywho.
Who's your
That-
favorite character, by the way, of this episode? Favorite character?
This episode would be Hannah because I just loved how she was just over everyone, and sometimes I get like that, and I like how she just told Jessa to leave her
Sometimes.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes you like when you're over people, but I'm the type of person like I communicate with people.
Yeah.
If I don't want to be bothered, I'll tell you. That's just how I am. I don't
Exactly.
want to be bothered because 99.9% of the time I'm super friendly and I'm an extrovert, and sometimes I like to be left alone.
Right.
But because of my personality, people don't expect that.
Right.
So I really liked Hannah this episode because I just like that she was able to, and maybe because she's tired because she's pregnant.
Right.
But I was happy that she was able to tell Jessa like, leave me alone, Adam. Even if she didn't mean any of it, I
Yeah.
was just happy to see her stand up for herself.
Right.
I don't know. I'm the total opposite. I'm an introvert. So when people harass me, I'm like. Anyways, I'm kind of a little soft on Adam. Like I like the fact that he finally did something. It's so great when you can do your own project. I'm glad that they finished it. And he's using it like I really want your opinion, because he could not, like, he could apply to the film festivals and make a lot of money. It could be go to other film festivals, and he really wants her opinion on it.
Right.
I don't think he wants a relationship. I kind of also think that he's realizing that Jessa's probably not the one either. But I kind of really feel that it's really adult of him, even though how he went about it, it's kind of weird. It's really adult of him to want her opinion on it.
Yeah. I'm actually proud that he's really serious about it too.
Yeah. So yeah, I think once you get him in the right direction, he's a go-getter. But then you take him out and him and Jessa naked on a couch smoking weed.
It has to be a very specific set of circumstances for him to thrive, so he doesn't have that adaptable personality, and that's gonna hurt him.
For the first time, I felt like he was actually really normal.
Right.
Like, because I feel like every time I see Adam
He's
or Jessa,
eccentric
they're
and
just doing way too much. So when I like them when he came to talk to Hannah, they actually had a real conversation, and I felt like Adam was really normal, and he was really grown up about asking her for her opinion. So
Yeah.
Well, there are all our
Wait, what
predictions.
about my opinion?
Oh, my bad. They're gonna come for me right
gosh.
now. All right,
You guys,
I'm
Mina,
sorry.
Mina's been setting us up so we
Yeah.
can get like
Yes,
killed in the
I'm
comments.
telling you,
She's-
as long as it's not in person. All right, Mina, they're gonna give us the wrap up sign. So
I mean, my favorite two were Elijah and Jessa. Elijah, because he finally apologizes for being an ass to Hannah and saying the mean, horrible things.
Yeah.
And also because it was so surprising to see how good he was at acting and like turning it on and off, and I love that he's pursuing what he wants. But Jessa, because it's so nice to also see this like really soft side of her, and this side that isn't like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm so cool, I don't need anyone's validation. She does. I mean, she does care, she does love Hannah. She probably feels like a terrible person for what she's done, so it's really nice to see her make the effort to like finally make things right, Especially now, it's probably even harder for her to do so, like seeing how in love Adam is with her, or how in love he was with her with the whole filming thing.
Yeah.
So it's probably even harder for her to do that now than it would have been before. So just props to her for at least trying.
Shout out to Jessa.
sounds good. Sorry, guys, on the live chat, I was obviously doing a billion things, but Kosi Agma, I'm bad with name. Veronica and Caprice Cream. Thank you guys for chiming on the live chat. Put your comments in the YouTube page. We'll definitely appreciate it, good or bad. But I've noted all your comments. But we are pressed for time. Mina has spoken. We're good to go.
Thank you.
You guys can find me at TK Trinidad on everything, Instagram, Twitter, all that other stuff. TK Trinidad.
And you can find me on Instagram, Mina Makes Magic.
You can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.